Hello, hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người, chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với video review sản phẩm của em Lan ngày hôm nay. Thì sản phẩm của em Lan ngày hôm nay đưa đến cho mọi người là một chiếc phong bao lì xì tấn tài, tấn lộc. Cái phong bao lì xì này thì quá là quen thuộc đối với mọi người rồi này. Đấy, chúng ta có thể thấy là cái phong bao lì xì này là một cái sản phẩm mà ngày Tết của chúng ta không thể thiếu. Cái này cho mọi người rồi. Nhắc đến lì xì là chúng ta có thể thấy là nhắc đến Tết rồi nhá. Thì mọi người có thể thấy đây là một cái phong bao lì xì rất chi là tuyệt vời nhá. Thì chúng ta cùng tìm hiểu xem thì ý nghĩa của việc sử dụng bao lì xì này là như thế nào nhá. Thì hôm nay cái video này em Lan sẽ cùng tìm hiểu với mọi người về cái phong bao lì xì này nhá. Không phải tự nhiên người Việt Nam ta lại sử dụng bao lì xì hay tấm thiệp chúc mừng vào dịp Tết. Đấy, hẳn nó còn có nguyên nhân mang ý nghĩa đặc biệt. Hãy cùng tìm hiểu với An xem là ý nghĩa của việc sử dụng bao lì xì trong dịp Tết nó sẽ như thế nào nhé. Ý nghĩa của việc sử dụng bao lì xì là nhắc đến năm mới, không thể thiếu sự xuất hiện của những chiếc bao lì xì tươi tắn. Bao lì xì thay cho những lời chúc, một hình ảnh quen thuộc của người Việt Nam trong ngày đầu tiên của năm mới. Bao lì xì là lời chúc, là lời cầu chúc may mắn, sức khỏe, bình an, tài lộc tới cho mọi người. Theo đó thì cả người tặng và người nhận đều sẽ gặp những điều tốt lành trong năm mới. Đấy. Ý nghĩa của bao lì xì thường sẽ không nằm ở số tiền mừng bên trong là bao nhiêu. Dù nhiều hay ít thì sử dụng bao lì xì để mừng tuổi là để lấy may mắn. Đấy. Sử dụng những đồng tiền mới để mừng tuổi đầu năm, tượng trưng cho sự mới mẻ, để khởi đầu một năm mới may mắn. Hơn nữa thì bao lì xì còn thể hiện sự kín đáo, tránh sự đố kỵ, hơn thua và ganh tị. Đấy. Em uống một ngụm nước nhé. Tại sao phải in bao lì xì ngày Tết? Ngày xưa thì phong bao lì xì thường sử dụng cho các cá nhân để tặng người thân, gia đình và bạn bè. Thế nhưng cùng với sự phát triển không ngừng của xã hội thì việc sử dụng bao lì xì cũng được ứng dụng rộng rãi hơn, không chỉ trong giới hạn cá nhân nữa, mà bao lì xì ngày nay còn được rất nhiều công ty, doanh nghiệp, cơ quan lựa chọn. Đấy. Với mong muốn xây dựng, quảng bá thương hiệu của doanh nghiệp, công ty lên những sản phẩm bao lì xì dịp Tết, các doanh nghiệp đều lựa chọn cho mình dịch vụ in bao lì xì độc quyền, in bao lì xì theo yêu cầu để đem lại hiệu quả nhiều hơn. Đấy. In bao lì xì thì để đáp ứng nhu cầu càng cao của các cá nhân, doanh nghiệp và công ty, xưởng in lịch Tết sẽ luôn mang đến những cái dịch vụ bao lì xì chất lượng nhất. Sản phẩm bao lì xì này thì chất lượng, trang nhã, tinh tế, xưởng in sẽ luôn làm hài lòng tất cả mọi người. Đấy là một trong những cái xưởng in mà chúng ta có thể tìm hiểu nhé. Bao lì xì tượng trưng cho sự may mắn, bình yên, sức khỏe trong mỗi dịp Tết đến. Cùng em tìm hiểu cái này rồi nhé. Bao lì xì tượng trưng cho một món quà tinh thần, không quan trọng vật chất, mà thay vào đó là sự thể hiện sự quan tâm, yêu thương và lòng mong mỏi của con cháu ngoan ngoãn, học giỏi, khỏe mạnh. Màu đỏ đặc trưng của phong bao lì xì thể hiện sự may mắn, giàu có và thịnh vượng cho cả một năm. Và đây cũng là truyền thống tốt đẹp không thể thiếu những ngày đầu năm mới, vào ngày mùng 1, cả gia đình sẽ sum họp lại với nhau, thắp hương tổ tiên và cùng nhau sum vầy ăn Tết. Ông bà, cha mẹ sẽ gửi đến những đứa trẻ trong nhà những phong bao lì xì đỏ để lấy lộc đầu năm. Theo truyền thống xưa kể lại rằng thì vào đêm giao thừa sẽ xuất hiện một yêu quái có sở thích của nó là xoa đầu trẻ con đang ngủ, khiến chúng giật mình và khóc thét lên. Vào Tết năm đó, một cặp vợ chồng già mới sinh được cậu con trai. Theo lời mách bảo của 8 vị tiên thì hai vợ chồng lấy giấy đỏ gói những đồng tiền đặt lên gối con rồi đi ngủ. Khi đêm giao thừa, con yêu quái xuất hiện, vừa định giơ tay xoa đầu đứa trẻ thì từ bên chiếc gối lóe lên những tia vàng sáng rực. Khi bạn đang kinh hoàng bỏ chạy, thấy được lợi ích bất ngờ thì hai vợ chồng mừng rỡ đem chuyện kể lại cho mọi người xung quanh nghe. Thì kể từ đó người ta bắt đầu hình thành phong tục lấy tiền bỏ vào trong bao đỏ để xua đuổi yêu quái và giúp trẻ mạnh khỏe. Từ đó bao lì xì đó đã trở thành cái truyền thống không thể thiếu vào những ngày đầu năm mới. Ý nghĩa của bao lì xì mỗi dịp Tết. Ý nghĩa của phong bao lì xì không nằm ở số tiền mà chúng ta mừng tuổi, mà quan trọng là tình cảm tốt đẹp được lan tỏa khắp mọi nơi. Vào những ngày Tết, người lớn sẽ lì xì cho trẻ con bằng những phong bao đỏ nhằm thể hiện sự quan tâm, yêu thương và lòng mong ước cho con cháu ngoan ngoãn, học giỏi, khỏe mạnh. Với những người lớn tuổi thì sẽ thể hiện lòng kính trọng, lời chúc sức khỏe, họ sống thọ cùng con cháu. Vì thế phong tục lì xì làm cho ngày Tết của Việt Nam trở nên tốt đẹp, ấm áp và có ý nghĩa hơn. Có thể thấy thì ngày nay bao lì xì thường được thay đổi về kiểu dáng này, màu sắc cho đến chất liệu để tạo sự hấp dẫn và chứa đựng nhiều ý nghĩa hơn trong dịp Tết. Thì ngoài nội dung thể hiện trên bao bì thì chúng ta còn biết cách chọn lựa chất liệu giấy phù hợp. Trên thực tế, một số các loại giấy làm bao lì xì nhưng loại này phù hợp thì không phải ai cũng biết. Thì một số loại giấy được người ta ưa chuộng để in phổ biến bao lì xì hiện nay là giấy Fox. Các loại giấy này có thể dễ dàng nhận biết được đặc điểm thể hiện trên bề mặt, có độ nhám, không bị bay màu hay có độ bám cực cao trong giấy Fox, rất dễ bị thấm nước, nhăn và không có tính thẩm mỹ cao. Do đó loại giấy này thường được dùng để in các loại bao lì xì, bao thư và hóa đơn. Nếu như các bạn muốn in được loại bao lì xì cao cấp hơn hay là sang trọng hơn thì không nên in những cái loại giấy như thế này nhé. Giấy bút tre thì có rất nhiều ưu điểm nổi bật, có thể kể đến như bề mặt rất láng mịn, bóng, hình ảnh sau in thì vô cùng sinh động và rõ nét. Loại giấy này thường dùng trong các viết, tờ rơi quảng cáo hoặc các bìa tạp chí. Đặc biệt hơn, nó cũng có thể dùng làm bao lì xì thông qua công nghệ in offset. Ý nghĩa của bao lì xì thì không nằm ở số tiền mà chúng ta muốn làm mừng tuổi, mà quan trọng là những tình cảm tốt đẹp chúng ta đã lan tỏa đến khắp mọi nơi. Vào những ngày Tết thì người lớn sẽ lì xì cho trẻ con bằng phong bao đỏ nhằm thể hiện sự quan tâm, yêu thương và lòng mong ước cho cháu chăm ngoan, học giỏi và khỏe mạnh. Đấy là những cái thông điệp của bao lì xì, ý nghĩa của bao lì xì nha mọi người nha. Cái này không còn xa lạ gì với mọi người nữa rồi.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. Well, zoo announced that a 14-year-old endangered chimpanzee named Naya is pregnant, said the zoo's janitor. She told me she was 18.
The wrong number was announced in this week's $86 million Mega Millions jackpot drawing, which is why I had to go into Lauren's office and unquit.
The makers of Barbie have introduced the first ever Barbie with hearing aids. It teaches an important lesson. It doesn't matter if you're deaf, as long as that body banging. The New York Times said it changed the answer from Monday's Wordle, which was fetus, because it was too closely connected to a major news story. Tough news for psychos whose first Wordle guess is always fetus.
Amazon announced that it will pay employees who have to travel to get an abortion up to $4,000 in expenses every year. The only catch is you got to do it during your 8-minute lunch break. There is renewed speculation about Vladimir Putin's health after he was photographed at a military parade with a heavy blanket across his lap. But hear me out, maybe the blanket is because thinking about war gets him hard as hell.
Well, if you feel like things are a little off this week, remember, yesterday was Friday the 13th. Tomorrow is a super blood moon. And according to the most annoying person you know, Mercury is in retrograde. Is it me, or does it every story this week sound like the opening voiceover in a Mad Max movie? The year is 2022. A virus rages across the planet. The U.S. government hit its debt limit on Thursday, and the country now risks defaulting on its bills. And look, we've all been there, you know. You spend too much because life's too short, then the bill comes due, the bank won't loan you money anymore. Then you have no choice. You have to buckle down, face the music, and blow up your Staten Island ferry for insurance money. What? Recently, tennis star Andy Murray was upset after an umpire at the Australian Open refused to let him take a bathroom break during a 5-set-long match. Worse, it was deuce.
Fishermen in Florida have discovered a 214-year-old clam that was born the same year as Abraham Lincoln. The clam credits his longevity to staying away from the theater. A California man has set a new world record by visiting Disneyland for 2,995 consecutive days, but still no sign of his kid. A new study... I tried to plow right through. A new study finds that married men live a longer, healthier life. Yeah, but for what?
As this year's awards season gets underway, there's growing movement to get rid of the gendered categories of Best Actor and Best Actress, and instead call them Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less. House Republicans, concerned that China could use TikTok to illegally gather information on Americans, have voted for a bill that could ban the app nationwide. Replied TikTok users.
The U.S. Energy Department concluded that COVID likely originated from a Wuhan laboratory leak and not a wet market. So I gave up eating bats for nothing? Newspapers around the country dropped the cartoon strip Dilbert after creator Scott Adams said he chose to live in a community where no black people live. So he lives in your building, huh, Colin?
Cryptocurrency crashed this week with Bitcoin losing nearly half its value, and now it has to legally change its name to BitOcoin. In fact, the entire crypto market has lost over $1 trillion, but don't worry, you can make that money back fast, as long as you've been hoarding baby formula. New York City officials say they have received over 7,000 rat sightings here in New York. So everybody, look under your seat. The Oklahoma City's...
It was announced that a new disco-themed roller skating rink will open this summer in Central Park. Another classic 70s trend returning to the park this summer, stabbings. Apple announced that after 20 years, it will stop production of its iPod Touch because Apple products become obsolete once they're older than the kids who make them.
Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here watching a shelter dog get passed up for adoption. led a congressional delegation for a surprise visit to Ukraine today. It's weird because usually when McConnell shows up by surprise, it's behind you in the bathroom mirror. The Biden classified document scandal and the Trump classified document scandal are very different, but they do share one big thing in common. They both make Hillary Clinton want to blow her goddamn brains out. It would have been so funny if they searched Biden's garage and he had Hillary's server.
It was reported that last year the population of China declined by 850,000 people, thanks to an increase in China's leading cause of death, protesting. China plans to reverse the population decline with an emergency import of Nick Cannon.
State senators said the bill will prevent kids from being, quote, blindsided by a sexualized performance in public. What are you talking about? Drag shows don't just pop up like flash mobs and sprinkle gay dust on your kids. I never accidentally happened upon a drag show, and I grew up in New York City. Now, I have been blindsided by a sexualized performance a few times, but that's just what you get when you take the bus.
It's really sad, man. Yeah. It's really sad.
A new trend among younger workers is Bare Minimum Monday, in which they do as little as possible on the first day of the work week, while a new trend among World War II veterans is realizing their sacrifice meant nothing. Biologists in Florida are warning that the Jesus Christ lizard, named for its ability to run on water, could spread harmful diseases to humans. They hope to control the population by introducing a Pontius Pilate lizard.
That's sweet.
It was reported that the James Bond books are being rewritten to remove offensive material. So the character Pussy Galore will now be called Cooter Aplenty. This week, South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of murder and also found guilty of looking like Will Ferrell dressed as Conan O'Brien.
The House Ethics Committee has announced an investigation into George Santos. Well, thank God I'm not George Santos, said George Santos. Donald Trump accused Ron DeSantis of wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare and called the Florida governor a wheelchair-over-the-cliff kind of guy. Wheelchair over the cliff is also how Melania will finally get rid of him.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has signed a new law banning public drag performances with a 6-year prison sentence for repeat offenders. As first predicted in the now documentary, Madea Goes to Jail. A Tennessee state digital money has collapsed. Infants have nothing to eat. Women are forced to breed. Men are ready to die for gasoline. And we suffer under the leadership of the one known only as Joe.
Kevin Spacey will star in a historical drama about Genghis Khan's grandson. Said Spacey, you had me at grandson.
Well, guys, this is just in. The winner of this year's Eurovision Song Contest is Kalush Orchestra, a group from Ukraine. And this is cool. If you combine every member of Kalush Orchestra, you get Post Malone. The Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. has been sold for a reported $375 million. Well, I wouldn't say reported, said the IRS. A member of the punk rock group Pussy Riot, which has long protested Vladimir Putin, revealed that she fled the country disguised as a food delivery worker, which explains this notification from DoorDash.
You know, this baby formula shortage is scary. I mean, babies are very sensitive. You can't just feed them anything. I once tried to give my little nephew something different than his usual formula, and he nearly choked on that hot wing bone. The January 6th committee has subpoenaed 5 sitting Republican congressmen after they refused to testify voluntarily. Said the Republican congressman, you can't force us to do anything. We're not pregnant. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has proposed a new policy permanently banning mask mandates and vaccine requirements, saying, when the world lost its mind, Florida was a refuge of sanity. Then everyone in the crowd took a hit of nitrous and bit a cop. Donald Trump responded to reports that Ron DeSantis will run against him for the Republican nomination, saying, we'll handle this the way I handle things. So rough and without consent. A Catholic nun in France, who is believed to be the oldest person in the world, has died at the age of 118. Her cause of death was listed as answered prayer. You never know, Colin.
Some owners of McDonald's franchises are reportedly concerned about a campaign partnership with Cardi B, especially the ad where they claim their burgers have a wet-ass patty.
Oh. A porn star in Australia revealed that while recently filming a new movie, he broke his penis and said it... This is really sad, ma'am. He broke his penis and said it went completely black, which, means it's never going back. The man has adjusted to his new black penis by filming all his sex scenes in Timberlands. A man in Missouri is planning to turn an abandoned jail into an Airbnb rental, which will make it the first jail that refuses to accept black people. It was announced that Puerto Rico's only zoo is closing after years of alleged animal neglect. Worse, the zoo is closing is being advertised as all you can eat. That's how he really dances, too. First Lady Jill Biden said in an interview that she maintains a good balance in the types of advice she offers President Biden, but it's mostly hold on to the railing.
No. Newspapers dropped the cartoon strip effective immediately, and to rub it in, they're replacing Dilbert with Peanuts' Oops All Franklin. Dilbert creator Scott Adams' racist rant was in response to the results of a poll that asked respondents the question, is it okay to be white? Oh, I'd say it's more than just okay.
Yeah, so we're making each other read jokes live on air that the other person has never seen before.
Oh, God. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, for the first time, denied months-old rumors that he had died and been replaced by a look-alike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart.
A new study shows that the average American touches their mobile device more than 2,000 times a day. Only 2,000 times, said my penis. Okay.
A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs.
A new report shows that Hurricane Florence was the wettest in history. The previous record for wetness was set on the opening night of Magic Mike.
Kevin Spacey, hold for applause, Kevin Spacey made his first public speaking appearance in 5 years where he thanked Italy's National Cinema Museum for having the balls to invite him. He also asked, could I touch the balls? I'm kidding. He didn't ask permission.
It was reported that last year the population of China declined by 850,000 people, thanks to an increase in China's leading cause of death, protesting. China plans to reverse the population decline with an emergency import of Nick Cannon.
A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? Tennis star Andy Murray was upset after an umpire at the Australian Open refused to let him take a bathroom break during a 5-set long match. Worse, it was deuce.
A Catholic nun in France, who was believed to be the oldest person in the world, has died at the age of 118. Her cause of death was listed as answered prayer.
The U.S. Department of the Interior has changed the name of Squaw Valley, California, because it is considered a derogatory term for Native American women. Okay, I don't understand how that name gets changed, and yet no one cares there's an entire town in New York that mocks my people.
A new study finds that frogs in the rainforest have a higher pitch call than urban frogs. The study also finds that female frogs be shopping. I stand by that joke.
Due to a computer error, a school in Massachusetts has been unable to turn off its lights for over a year and a half. The students are doing fine, but the classroom hamster has gone insane.
A San Francisco panel studying reparations is proposing giving every black resident a one-time payment of $5 million. Well, that's a fantastic idea, said the Gucci store.
The location of Sex Island, which is a 4-day drug-fueled event featuring prostitutes and an exclusive resort, has been revealed to be an island off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago. This according to the plane ticket I saw in Shay's hand.
See you there. The CDC is warning people to not eat raw cookie dough because it may contain germs that can cause severe diarrhea. But on the bright side, you can eat cookie dough without ever gaining weight. In and out.
It was reported that the Boy Scouts of America are considering filing for bankruptcy in the face of declining membership. Yeah, apparently there's some problem with their business model of hoping parents will pay adult strangers to take their children deep into the woods. It was announced that the Broadway musical Avenue Q about raunchy puppets will close in the spring after 15 years. But if you still want to go see raunchy puppets, just head to Times Square and watch Elmo kicking pigeon.
Sorry. Inflation rate in the U.S. reached 8.5% in March. To cover the higher prices, millions of families have been forced to take out a second OnlyFans account.
Google Earth has released a new feature that allows people to see a time lapse of how their neighborhood has changed over the last 40 years. Don't remind me, said my grandpa.
Video was posted of a police officer in San Francisco pulling over a driverless car, then the car driving away after the officer saw no one was behind the wheel. Even more amazing, he still managed to shoot an unarmed black guy.
Firefighters in Texas saved more than 100 snakes, including pythons and boa constrictors from a burning home. Said the homeowner, "Cool, so where's my wife?" The World Health Organization is changing the name of monkeypox to Mpox due to concerns that the original could be considered racist, which I didn't even really think was an issue, but now I'm just wondering, what's the N in N95? A zoo in Atlanta will allow visitors to carry firearms. So you want to try laughing at me again, monkeys?
Announced that its word of the year is gaslighting. Gaslighting, if you don't know, is a word my ex made up to magically win arguments that she was losing. The Senate passed the Respect for Marriage Act, which solidifies federal protections for interracial marriages. Okay, but if I marry a white lady, who's going to protect me from my mother? Tensions are on the rise after North Korea launched more than 20 missiles into the ocean, and all because the Little Mermaid is black. It's not real.
Tomorrow is the New York City Marathon, or as Fox News will report it, undocumented Africans run wild in streets of New York. The bat used by Babe Ruth to hit his 500th home run was auctioned off this week. Also, I'll be auctioning off the bat I used to keep my neighborhood white. A student in Texas, who is nicknamed White Lightning, set a high school record.
But on the bright side, you can eat cookie dough without ever gaining weight. They will have confirmed a dog disease that can be passed on to humans. Fine, I'll wear a condom. Oh, wow. Okay. Pope Francis ended a Vatican summit by promising the Catholic Church would confront the clergy sex abuse head on instead of their usual way, face down, ass up.
The location of Sex Island, which is a 4-day drug-fueled event featuring prostitutes and an exclusive resort, has been revealed to be an island off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago. This, according to the plane ticket I saw in Shape.
England's Prince Andrew is being called a total disaster after he said his friend Jeffrey Epstein conducted himself in a manner unbecoming. I don't know. From what I've read, it sounded like he'd be coming all the time.
A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs. A new report finds that as people move into formerly wild areas of Africa, human activity is disrupting chimpanzee culture. Incidentally, chimpanzee culture is also what my grandpa calls hip-hop. Why?
Whoa. We finish our night up in the best way, loving all over, and then we both wake up sober the next day, and have to start over. So now we silent the whole ride back. Cause what we have doesn't feel the same as what we had, and I'm tired of feeling.
Researchers are testing a new method to treat cancer by injecting the cells with the herpes virus. So good news, if you've ever had sex with me, you might have the cure for cancer.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, for the first time, denied months-old rumors that he had died and been replaced by a look-alike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart. A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? Buttigieg has only 4% support among African Americans, but that'll change once Pete announces his running mate, the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Last week was National Rosa Parks Day, or as we call it in my house, Uppity Bus Passenger Day. A team of doctors will soon perform a surgery that uses muscle and skin from a man's arm to give him a new penis, which he was born without. And before the man with no penis goes into surgery, let me just say this. Good luck, Colin. Now that's not...
People Magazine's sexiest man alive is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yeah. He once again beat his longtime rival, Dwayne "The Scissors" Johnson. I am so proud of that joke, by the way.
A woman on Long Island discovered a diamond ring inside of a glove while trying it on in a department store. And because it was Long Island, it was still attached to a finger.
A new report shows that half of the dogs in the U.S. are overweight, which explains why the most popular breed in America is the Type 2 Dire Beagle.
Trump has justified his use of Twitter, saying he'd tweet less if the press did their job better, or if his Ambien did its job better.
A man in Arizona is claiming that he can relieve sinus pressure in his nose by masturbating. He first made the claim while police were removing him from the bus. There's people that love Donald Trump so much that they're willing to overlook these allegations, and I can understand that. Look, I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson because of Thriller and Off the Wall. But that doesn't mean I can't admit that he's done some terrible things, too. Like that Invincible album. Or that song he made with Eddie Murphy. What was that? It was almost as bad as that stuff he did to those kids.
It was announced that Idina Menzel will sing the national anthem at this year's Super Bowl. Then she'll sing Let It Go as a tribute to the NFL's domestic violence policy. In a speech this week, Hillary Clinton stressed the need for compromise in Washington, saying she hopes to lead the country into, quote, a warm purple space, which is the same line Grimace uses to get you into his windowless van.
A couple in Russia invited a bear to be a witness at their wedding. There were no survivors.
Golf Digest magazine has created a controversy over a new cover featuring 20-year-old golfer Lexi Thompson posing with only a towel covering her breasts. But before you call them sexist, they did the same thing last month with Arnold Palmer.
Dick Cheney criticized the Senate report on CIA interrogation methods as, quote, a bunch of hooey. Cheney also complained that the report's description of torture, quote, barely got me hard. So, like, if you go to your email, you could just, like, open it up. It's literally right in there.
Damn it. This is for a sick kid?
Yeah, very sick boy.
Okay, well, here goes. A McDonald's in China was criticized for posting a sign saying that black people were not allowed to enter, which is the same sign I'm going to hang on my daughter.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. Whoa. The Blue Moon diamond, which sold at auction for $48 million, was bought by a billionaire for his 7-year-old daughter, which raises the disturbing question, did that guy cheat on his daughter? Pablo Picasso's Women of Algiers was sold for a record-setting $179 million. But I can get you a picture of lopsided titties for way less than that.
Johnny Depp this week criticized actors who become musicians, saying the whole idea makes him sick. Depp believes the only other thing an actor should become is a French scarf monster. An American woman set a new record by visiting every country in the world in 19 months. And after all that travel, she found the one thing that had been inside her all along, Zika. Just have it. A Massachusetts couple whose son was born during the Super Bowl has named him Brady, while an Atlanta couple whose son was born during the Super Bowl has named him Son of a Bitch.
I never understood why cops don't like us. We have so much in common with the police. We're both portrayed negatively on the news. You can hear our cars from blocks away. Everyone gets nervous when they think we're following them. We're the only two people I know who can hop a fence in boots. We both bring our guns to funerals. I can go on and on.
Thursday is Thanksgiving, and there's so much to be thankful for this year, unless you're a human woman.
North Korea on Wednesday launched a long-range rocket in defiance of international sanctions. No word on how Kim Jong-un celebrated the launch, but I would bet cake. Pennsylvania police arrested a woman who allegedly is in talks to play the late Penn State football coach Joe Paterno in a new movie. This will be Pacino's second film with the line, "Say hello to my little friend." NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said this week that the high quality of HD TV is hurting attendance at the games since the experience of watching at home is so good. Is it, though? Said guys with wives. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced this year's inductees, including Donna Summer, Public Enemy, and Rush. Who are those other two? Said fans of any one of those. A pregnant California woman has agreed to allow online voters to name her baby in exchange for $5,000, and I'm sure the fact that she made a little money will be a huge consolation to little fart loser Narwhal Jones. A 66-year-old Florida grandfather this week wrestled an alligator that tried to eat his dog. That story again, an old man and his dog were eaten by an alligator. A Virginia man was surprised when he went for a jog and an emu began following him. Even more surprising, it was following him in a car. A California farmer has begun powering his farm using leftover walnut shells. If you're wondering which farm it is, it's the one with no power. Doctors in the New York and New Jersey area are saying that there will be a 30% increase in the number of babies born this July who were conceived during the blackout caused by Hurricane Sandy. And then someday you can tell your child the story of how they only exist because your iPhone died. A professor at the University of New Mexico has developed a dissolvable mouth strip that can relieve the pain caused when a person burns the top of their mouth eating pizza. Finally, a scientific alternative to waiting a minute. Anne Romney has reportedly declined an offer to appear on this season's Dancing with the Stars. She's probably not a good fit for the show anyway, because I've heard of her. A man in China is claiming that his dog can successfully add figures that include fractions. Man, it was bad enough when our kids were only competing with Chinese children. The Russian Space Agency announced plans to send an unmanned spacecraft to the moon in 2015. Not only that, but it will be thrown there by a shirtless Vladimir Putin. A cat in Great Britain has been annoying its owner's neighbors by sneaking into their house through pet doors and stealing ladies' underwear. Said the neighbors, yeah, that guy didn't have a cat. New Jersey's DMV is banning drivers from having big smiles on their driver's license photos. Though I gotta wonder, was that a big problem at the New Jersey DMV? It's everything I ever thought it would be. In an effort to save the endangered cheetah, some zoos are pairing up cheetah cubs with puppies to teach them how to thrive while in captivity, which is the cutest thing you'll ever see, followed by the most horrifying thing you'll ever see. In a recent promotion, Mitt Romney is offering donors a chance to win a ride on his campaign plane. But if you know how Mitt Romney travels, this is one contest you don't want to win. Police in Philadelphia this past weekend were called to a hotel after guests from 2 different weddings got into a huge fight. Police calmed the brawlers by encouraging everyone to shout a little bit softer now.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. As this year's award season gets underway, there's growing movement to get rid of the gendered categories of Best Actor and Best Actress and instead call them Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less.
Oh, boy. President Biden said that he supports a bill that would allow the government to ban TikTok, but only because Biden thinks TikTok is a gang member from his old neighborhood.
President Biden on Friday attended a formal ceremony welcoming Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. Said Biden, "And where's Justice Ginsburg? Ruth, come on up here."
That's how he really dances, too. First Lady Jill Biden said in an interview that she maintains a good balance in the types of advice she offers President Biden. But it's mostly, hold on to the railing.
This week, South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of murder and also found guilty of looking like Will Ferrell dressed as Conan O'Brien. At a White House event, President Biden asked if Representative Jackie Walorski was in the audience, asking, "Where's Jackie?" apparently forgetting she died last month. Worse, he keeps forgetting that this woman is still alive. This week, President Biden pardoned thousands of convicted marijuana users, and it feels like maybe he celebrated with them a little because yesterday, Biden gave a speech at a car factory and opened with this.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
A California man has set a new world record by visiting Disneyland for 2,995 consecutive days, but still no sign of his kid. A new study... I tried to plow right through. A new study finds that married men live a longer, healthier life. Yeah, but for what?
Wow. Well, let me respond with 2 words. Jesus H. Christ. Biden was then heard criticizing reporters at the White House for shouting questions at him. Questions like, what year is it? And who's the current president? Also, they weren't reporters, they were doctors.
A man who made aviation history by parachuting out of a hot air balloon 20 miles above the earth has died at the age of 94 when he finally hit the ground.
Researchers say that for more than a decade, they tracked a humpback whale as it swam over 3,000 miles from Canada to Hawaii with a broken spine. They even got a recording of its whale song.
Rishi Sunak will become Great Britain's first ever prime minister of Indian descent. Said his mom, okay, why not king?
During a White House ceremony, President Biden wished Kamala Harris a happy birthday, then accidentally called her a great president. Even worse, he was talking to a portrait of Michelle Obama. And Biden, seen here begging for one more year before the midterms, warned about Republican candidates who say they will refuse to accept election results, warning they could set the nation on a path to chaos. So wait, this is just the path to chaos? I thought we'd been living in chaos for at least 6 years. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked in their home by a guy with a hammer, and instead of even basic sympathy, Republicans were like, we heard he gay.
President Biden has recommended that South Carolina become the first state to vote in the Democratic primaries to give black voters more of a voice in selecting the 2024 candidate. Not to be outdone, Donald Trump also plans to give black voters a voice with this puppet. President Biden signed a measure that would force railway workers to accept a deal that averts a strike but does not include paid sick leave. Why do you expect Biden to care about sick leave when he shows up to work every day with full-blown CTE?
President Biden, seen here giving the eulogy at a pimp's funeral, formally approved new legislation that will guarantee federal protections for same-sex and interracial marriages in a signing ceremony held over my grandpa's dead body.
The Senate passed the Respect for Marriage Act, which solidifies federal protections for interracial marriages. Okay, but if I marry a white lady, who's going to protect me from my mother? The FBI searched President Biden's Delaware beach house but found no classified documents. Also, the next time somebody tells you that Biden got billions from China, remember that his beach house is in Delaware.
This week, Biden also hosted leaders of African countries at the White House for the U.S. African Business Forum. Coincidentally, U.S. African Business Forum is what they call Weekend Update in Nigeria. Well, it is Christmas time, a time when nice children get presents, not presidents. A new study finds that long-distance running does not cause wear and tear on marathoners' knees, but it does sand their nipples clean off. New trend among younger workers is Bare Minimum Monday, in which they do as little as possible on the first day of the work week, while a new trend among World War II veterans is realizing their sacrifice meant nothing. It was reported that the James Bond books are being rewritten to remove offensive material. So the character Pussy Galore will now be called Cooter Aplenty.
Wednesday was International Women's Day. I said was. Next joke. A new study finds... A new study finds that some New York City rats carry the virus that causes COVID, which is why I always order mine well done.
Well, guys, we... Come on. No.
What? When I invited you to my birthday party, you RSVP'd, I'm not gonna be there unless it's a quinceañera.
I don't go to quinceañeras.
Oh, really? Huh. This just in, Colin Jost refuses to celebrate his